Hello everybody, this is the third video on transportation problem of operation research or optimization technique subject. Okay, now initially we have studied the introduction about the transportation problems, then we have studied the different methods for finding initial basic physical solution. Now you know that in the second step we check the optimality of the cost received from IVFS system. So how can we check the optimality of the IVFS solution? This can be done by using two methods, that is modified distribution method, and it is also called as UV method, and the second one is the stepping stone method. In today's lecture we are going to study the modified distribution method or UV method. Okay, so we will solve this type of numerical. Okay, now this is the problem. Below is the IVFS solution found by northwest coast corner rule. Find optimality transportation cost. As you will see that this is the same problem we have solved in the previous video. Okay, so we are using the same video again here so that we can thoroughly go through the concepts of transportation problem. As you know that in the previous video we solved this transportation problem using all five methods, that is northwest corner rule, second lowest cost entry method, row minimum method, column minimum method, and Vogel's approximation method. So we are using that solved IVFS solution for further proceeding as to be used in Moti method. So this is the question, or you can say that this is the first part NWCR used for finding IVFS solution. Now we will check whether the solution founded by NWCR is optimal or not. Okay, if the solution found using this method is not optimal, then we will also proceed to finally find the optimal solution. Okay, so coming back to the problem, we have to check the optimality. Okay, so these are three factories as explained earlier. These are the different warehouses. This is the transportation cost per unit. These are the supply from each factory, and these are the demand from each warehouses. Now as shown or as explained in the previous video, these are the allocations: 6 to this cell, 4 to this cell, 7 to this, 5 to this, and 8 to this. Okay, now we have studied earlier that this is a balance problem. Okay, so when we made allotment to the different cell, then we found that the total cost using initial basic feasible solution by NWCR method is 242 rupees. You know that this is 10 into 6, this is 13 into 452, this is 7 into 749, this is 13 into 565, and 2 into 816. So we have found 242 rupees cost initial basic feasible solution using NWCR. Now we will proceed further using Modi method to check the optimality. Now the first step in Modi method is to check whether there is any degeneracy or not. If there is degeneracy, we first have to remove the degeneracy. Okay, now in this question you will see that there are 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. So 3 m is equal to 3, n is equal to 3, and minus 1, the value comes out to be 5. Similarly, now we have to check how much allocations has been made. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of allocations are 5. So if m plus n minus 1 is equal to number of allocation, then we can say that there is no degeneracy. So we can proceed further. Now second step is pretty important. What we have to check? We have to check if these allocations are made at an independent position. So before moving to that, we must have to understand that what are the independent position. Okay, suppose using this method we have marked the different cells to which allocations has been made. Now you will see that if there is a loop formation, then we can say that they are not independent position. But in this case you will see that there is no loop formation, means there is no cell to which we can form a loop. Okay, suppose now you see that from here we can move here, from there you can move here, here, but we can't go back to the initial step in any of the cases. So these are called as the independent positions of the allocation. Now how can you find that the positions are not independent? Suppose in this case let us consider this case. Okay, now if the allocations are made here, here, here and here, so if we start moving from this allocation to this, and we can come back to this, so there is a loop formation. So these are the dependent positions. So if any dependent position occurs for the allocations, then we cannot proceed further. So in this case, in this present scenario, the allocations are made at the independent position. That's why we can move to the third step. Now the third step is to calculate Ui and Vj for all allocated cells using formula Cij is equal to Ui plus Vj. Now as I have told you earlier, Monodin method is also called as UV method. So that's why as we will find the value of UV, that's why it is also called as Monodin method. Okay, now where we have to perform this operation, it is very important term, because when the students moves to the finding the values of Ui and Vj, they get confused in whether they have to use the allocated cells or unallocated cells. So you have to use the allocated cells. Now the formula for finding Ui and Vj is Cij is equal to Ui plus Vj. Now what is Cij? Cij, as you know, is the unit transportation cost from one factory to the warehouse. Ui is the values for row and Vj is are the values for the columns. Okay, now the condition is that you are having 6 unknown, but you will be having 5 equations. So how can you solve that? Because the main issue is that we don't know the exact any of the values from the given values. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to choose any of the u1, u2 or u3 value as equal to 0. So what is the principle of choosing the value 0, whether we have to put value of u1 0, u2 0 or u3 0? So for that we have to follow a simple principle. Okay, we can put the value of that ui equal to 0 for which row the maximum allocations has been made. Okay, now in this case you will see that we have written the value of Cij here from the basic table. Okay, now you will see that in this row there are 2 allocations. Similarly here also there are 2 allocation, and here is the 1 allocation. So this principle says that allocate the value of u of that row equal to 0 which have maximum allocation. But in this case there are 2 allocations. Also here also 2 allocations, so there is a clash. So we can choose any of the value of u1 or u2 equal to 0. So in this case let us suppose that the value of u1 is 0. Okay, now we will find the value of u2, u3, v1, v2 and v3. Okay, if there are more than 2 allocations, suppose there is one more allocation, so number of allocation to this row are 3, here 2, here 1, so we have to put u1 equal to 0. If there is one more allocation here, then the number of allocation in this row becomes 3, then we have to choose u2 as equal to 0. So initially we are selecting u1 equal to 0. Now how can we find the values of the remaining unknown quantities? So let us use simple formulas. Okay, now you will see that the formula is Cij is equal to ui plus vj. Now the sum of u1 and v1 will be equal to this one, means this is Cij, this is u1 and this is c11, this is u1 and this is v1. So the sum of v1 and u1 will be equal to 10 as per this formula. So let us put the value of u1 v1 and equal to, that is equal to 10. Okay, so v1 is unknown but u1 is known and that is equal to 10. Okay, so if you will put value of u1 equal to 0 here, this will give that v1 is equal to 10. Okay, so v1 is equal to 10. Similarly, moving to the second value, as u1 is 0 and v2 is unknown but this is known, so v2 plus u1 is equal to 13. v2 plus u1 is equal to 13, and again as you know that u1 is 0, so v2 becomes equal to 30. v2 is equal to 30. Okay, v2 is 13. Now moving to the next step, as u2 is still unknown, now we will use v2 and u2. Okay, now v2 is 13, Cij is 7 and u2 is unknown. So if we will use formula v2 plus u2 is equal to 7, we can find the value of u2. Now v2 plus u2, now v2 is 13, u2 and this is equal to 7. So if you will put value of v2 is equal to 13, u2 will come out to be -6. Okay, if this is 13 and this is unknown and this is 7, this will, if you will solve the equation, you will find that u2 is equal to -6. Similarly, now these two are unknown. Okay, now if you will use the formula v3 plus u2, and that is v3 plus u2 is equal to 13, and you know that the value of u2 is -6. If you will put -6 here, v3 comes out to be 19. v3 comes out to be 19. Similarly, the last thing which is unknown is v3 is 19. Okay, so when you will use formula v3 plus u3 equals to 2, you will find that the value of u3 comes out. If this is 19, okay, this is unknown and this is equal to 2, sum of these is equal to 2, then by putting 19 here we can find the value of u3, and u3 comes out to be -17. If this is 19 and this is 2, u3 comes out to be -70. Okay, so this is the formula, this is the unit cost of transportation of goods from one source to one destination. These are unknowns, and you have to use any of the value of u1, u2 or u3 equal to 0 for finding the rest of the values, and you will use the principle that use that value of u equal to 0 of that row whose number of allocations are maximum. If there is a class, you can choose as per your wish. Now the next step is calculation of cost difference for unoccupied cell. Okay, now in this step 4, you have to remember that this operation will be performed on unoccupied cell. Okay, so the formula will be for finding difference is dij equals to cij, again the unit cost minus ui plus vj. Okay, so we will be forming three matrices here. One is of cij, second one is of ui plus vj, and third one is the difference of these two. Okay, now cij, as you know, these are the values of the unoccupied cells. Okay, now from the table you will see that these are the cij means the unit transportation cost. Okay, not the allocations or whatever this. Okay, cij means for unallocated cell. So this is 6. Okay, again this is an unoccupied cell, this is 16, this is occupied, so dash has been made. Okay, then this is unoccupied cell and this is, so in out of 9 cells there are 4 unoccupied cells. Okay, so rest of the cells has been marked as dash. Okay, similarly we have to find the value of ui plus vj for these unoccupied cells using the values of ui and vj which has been found in the previous step. Okay, so these are the values of u1, u2, u3 and v1, v2, v3. Now we will use these values and in this formula and find the values for these unallocated cells. So for this cell the value is 19 plus, okay, 19, yeah, ui is, u1 is 0 and v3 is 19, so sum of these two is 19. Okay, now for this cell -6 plus 10, it comes out to be 4. Okay, as we have to add only these two terms. Okay, similarly for this cell 10 minus 17, this is -7, and for this -4. Okay, so how can we find? By adding the values of ui plus vj, we can find the values of the unoccupied cell. 19 plus 0, 19, minus 6 plus 10, this is 4, 10 minus 17 minus 7, and 13 minus 17 minus 4. Now we will find the difference of these two values and find the value of dij. Okay, so again I am marking dash for occupied cells. Okay, now you have to subtract these values from these values. Okay, 6 minus 19, this comes out to be minus 13. Again 16 minus 4, this comes out to be 12. Then 8 minus -7, it comes out to be 15, and this is 22 minus plus 4, 26. Now the check all the values of dij. Now what is the condition of the optimality? If all values of dij are positive or greater than 0, then we can say that the solution found here or the cost found here is optimal cost. But in this case you will see that this value or this cell has a value which is of negative. Okay, So this value or this cell has a value less than 0. That's why we are now on a condition that this is not an optimal solution. We have to proceed further for finding the optimal solution. So always remember that if all values of Dij are greater than 0, the solution is optimal. If not all Dij are greater than 0, then solution is non-optimal. Okay, so now what we have to do next, or what we have to choose from this table, so that we can use the values in the next step. You have to, if one value is negative, then choose that value and form that the entry basis. Okay, but if more than one value is negative under Dij matrix, then choose the most negative to form the entry basis. Okay, now in this case you will see that only one value is negative, so this cell will be the and form the entry basis. Okay, again I am repeating that if the cell under Dij has negative value, then solution is not optimal. Then choose that negative value which will form the entry basis. If more than one negative value exists in the matrix, then choose the most negative value and form it as the entry basis. Okay. Now step 5 is construction of a loop and allocation of an unknown value theta. Now as we saw in the previous step, under the value of Dij in this cell the value is minus 13, so we will allocate here some value, for example theta. So for formation of a loop, and after putting theta here we will form a loop. Okay, and for formation of a loop the following point must have to be remembered. Means first one is the loop must be a closed loop, that is it must have to end at the point from where it started. Second, the starting and ending point of a loop must be an unoccupied cell, means we can allot a value of theta only in an unoccupied cell. Okay, we have marked earlier the occupied cells and left blank the unoccupied cell. Okay, then loop may take any path. Okay, loop can be from any path, but the important condition is that at the corner point there must be an occupied cell. Okay, so in the apart from that of a cell to which theta has been assigned, rest of the cells corners must be the occupied cells. Okay, so as we seen in the previous step, this is the entering basis. So let us enter here an unknown value theta. Okay, so if you will provide any value theta here, then the total will change. Then you have to subtract a value. Okay, to the cell which is coming under the. Now you will see that if you will start moving from here and start reach up to here and move here, then there is no occupied cell, so we cannot move to that. But if you will see that if the loop starts from here and then move from here, this condition is satisfied. Again, if you will move to here, this condition will not be satisfied, so just move upward, then in that case this condition is satisfied. And again, as you have to form a loop, then you have to move back here. So all three conditions are satisfied. So this is a value theta and it has been placed at a correct cell. And now you have to also check the balancing of the transportation problem. Now if you will add here a location, it must have to be subtracted from here to maintain the balance. Again, if it has been subtracting from this row, it has to be added here. Again, if something is added to this column, then it must have to be subtracted from another cell of the loop. Now all three conditions has been fulfilled and we have assigned a value of theta to these four cells. Okay, now you will see that the balance has been maintained and there is no change in the balancing of a transportation problem. Okay, now as theta is unknown, we have to find the value of theta and it must always be positive. So for finding the value of theta, put these two values equal to 0, either 4 minus theta equals to 0 or 5 minus theta equals to 0. And we cannot use these values putting equals to 0 as theta cannot be negative. So from 4 minus put 4 minus theta equals to 0 or 5 minus theta equals to 0. If you will solve this, here the theta is 4, here the theta is 5, and from these two values of theta always choose the minimum value of theta. So from these two equations we have found that the minimum value is 4, so the value of theta from this is 4. Now we have to improve this table also. Okay, so if you will use value of 4 here, then this will be a new cell to which allocation has been made. Then if you will put theta as equal to 4, then this cell become allocation to this cell becomes equals to 1. Again, if you will put theta as equal to 4 here, then 7 plus 4, this cell will become allocation to this cell will become 11, and if you will subtract 4 from this 4, then there will be no allocation to this cell. Okay, so we have received a new cell to which allocation has been maintained. Okay, to which a new allocation has been made and the balancing has been maintained. If you will see that 6 plus 4 is 10, 11 plus 1 is 12, and this is 8, and if you will add this 4 plus 1 plus 8, 13, this is again 11. So balancing has been maintained and a new allocation has been maintained. So in next step we will make a new improved matrix. Now this is the next step. After improvement or of solution, and we can, by using the value of theta, this is the new matrix with new allocation. Okay, you will see that in the previous video the allocation has been made here, but after using of theta the allocation has been shifted here. So this is the new allocation matrix as after using of theta. So if you will again find the value, the new cost will comes out to be 10 into 6, 6 into 4, 7 into 11, 15 into 1, and 2 into 18. If you will find total, then the new cost will be 190 rupees. So again we have to find the, as we know that the value under Dij are still negative, so we have to again find the value of ui, then again we have to find the Dij. So in the next step 7 and 8 we will find the again the value of ui, vj and Dij again. As the value find for the cost is 190 rupees, so we have to again check whether it is optimal value or not. So again we have to find the ui and vj for newly allocated cells. Okay, so these are the new value of newly allocated values for ui, u2, u3, u1, u2, u3, v1, v2 and v3. Okay, so we will find again these values. Now these are the values of Cij for newly allocated cells. You will see that this is 10, this is 6, this is 7, 13 and 2. Okay, so again you will see that there are two cells occupied here, again 2 occupied here, so we will use anyone as equal to 0, u1 or u2. So let us consider the u1 is equal to 0. Then again we will use the same procedure as that used previously, and we will find the value of v1, v3, u2, u3 and vt. I have already written it down here. Okay, so I am putting directly from here under this table. Okay, then v3 is equal to 6, then u2 is equal to minus 7, u3 is equal to minus 4, and v2 is equal to 0. So we have used the same method as discussed earlier in this video, so I am not going to explain this further as this is a small mathematical calculation, but you have to be careful in finding the value of u1, u2 and 3. Okay, so after finding the value of ui and vj, what we have done, and again now you know that after finding the value of ui and vj, what we have to find? We have to find the value of Dij using the formula Cij minus ui plus vj. Okay, so this operation has to be performed on the unoccupied cells. Okay, so these 4 are the unoccupied cells. Okay, this and this. So we have marked the value of Cij from this table again here. This is 13. Okay, in the new table you will see that this is then similarly this is also an occupied cell and it has been entered here. Okay, now again what we have to find? We have to find the value of ui plus vj. We have written these values from there. 0, 7 minus 4, 10, 0, 6, and we have to find out the values for unoccupied cells. Okay, so this is 10 plus 7, 17. This is 10 minus 4, 6. This is 0 minus 4, minus 4. This is 0, 0, 0. So if you will subtract ui plus vj from cij, we will be able to find dij value. So 13 minus 0, 13. Again this is 16 minus 17. This is minus 1. Okay, 8 minus 6, 2, and 22 minus plus. So this comes out to be 26. Again, to check optimality, you have to see that all dij must be equal or greater than 0. But in this case, again, there is one negative value. So the new solution founded by us, that is the cos phi 190, is still not optimal. So we again have to move further for making a loop and finding a new value of theta. So again you will see that there is only a single value, so this will be the next entering basis. Okay, if more than, again I am telling you, if more than one value of negative available under dij, select the most negative value for entry basis. Now again we have to construct the loop and find the new value of theta. Okay, so you know that this operation has to be performed on all unallocated cells. So in the previous step you will see that this cell will be the entry basis. Okay, now we will put value of theta here. Okay, a new allocation has been made here. Now as per the rules of loop, you can't move here, you have to move here. Then if you are adding here theta, then you have to remove theta from this value. Then there is no location, and you have to move to that direction up to where there is a allocation at the ending cell. Okay, so now you can move here. Now as theta has been subtracted from here, you have to add theta again. Then again you, for formation of loop, you have to move here. You cannot move here because there is no chances of formation of loop here. So if you are adding theta here, subtract theta from here. Okay, then again you have to reach to this point. So the cell between the first and the third cell will not be considered. Then you just move back, as the condition of formation of loop is that you have to end at the same point from where you have started. So theta has been incorporated here. So to find the value of theta, you have to put this 6 minus theta equal to 0 and 1 minus theta equal to 0. So put, for finding the value of theta, put 6 minus theta equal to 0 or 1 minus theta equals to 0. This gives that theta is equal to 6 and this gives that theta is equal to 1. So as per rule you have to choose the minimum value. So the new value for theta is 1. Okay, so if you will use new value of theta, then you have to change the locations again. Okay, now using this cell we will incorporate the new allocation. Okay, now as there is no previous allocation to this cell, now theta has to be incorporated. So one allocation has to be made here, and the value of theta is 1. So allocate 1 here. Okay, now this subtract 1 from 6. This new allocation is 5. Okay, then moving to this allocation, already allocation made 4, then adding 1 to it, this will give a increase in allocation and it will become 5. Again here 1, then if you will subtract theta, then it will become 0. So there is no new allocation to this cell. Okay, then moving again to that of new cell and allocation. Already allocation 11 is here. The allocation made previously here will now has been eliminated. Now one more allocation to this cell is 8. Okay, now you will check whether it is balanced or not. 5 plus 5 10, 1 plus 11 12, and 8 again. This is 5 plus 1 6, this is 11, and this is 13. So this again the balancing has been maintained. Okay, so now we have to find the new cost. So you will find the new cost by multiplying this unit cost with the allocation. So 10 into 5 50 plus 6 into 5 30, then this is 16 into 1 16, then 7 into 11 77, and 2 into 8 16, and if you will add this, it comes out to be 890 rupees. Now to check whether this new cost is optimum or not, we again have to find ui, vj, and then we have to find dij and check whether dij values are greater than 0. Out to be 0, then we can say that this is the optimum cost. So in the next two steps we will find the value of ui, vj and dij. This is step 11, and we are again going to find ui and vj values for newly allocated cells, because after introduction of theta the new cells has been implemented and eliminated. Some of the cells has been eliminated. Okay, so these are the values for values of Cij for newly allocated cell. Okay, now again you will see that there are two occupied cells here and two here. So using the same principle we are going to put u1 is equal to 0. Okay, so I have already solved these values so that the time can be saved, and you know very well the principle of finding the values of remaining u2, u3, v3, v2 and v1 values. Okay, so I have used the same principle. I am explaining one, rest of the cases will be explained here. Okay, now you will say that v1 plus u1 is equal to 10, and if you will put value of u1 equal to 0, u1 is equal to 10. Similarly we can find the values of u2, v2, v3 and v4. This is repeating, this has been coming I think on the third time, so I am not going to explain this further. So you know this method for finding different values already. Okay, so I am putting the values right here. u2 is 6, u3 is -4, v1 is and v3 is equal to 6. Okay, so the last step here again is finding the value of dij to check optimality. Okay, and you know that dij operation has to be performed always on the unoccupied cell. So from the above table, from the basic table we have write down the values of Cij for unoccupied cells. Now these are for unoccupied cells and the value are 30, 30, 30. Similarly, by using these values u1, u2, u3, we have to find the values of ui and vj for unoccupied cells. So we will see that 10 minus 4, this comes out to be 6. This is 1 minus 4 minus 3 and 1 and 0, 1, and this is 6 by 6, 12. Okay, now you have to subtract the value of ui plus vj from Cij. So 30 minus 1, I am marking these cells which are of no use here. Okay, so 30 minus 1 is 12. Subtracting 13 minus 12 again is 1. This is 8 minus 6, 2, and this is 22 minus 3 plus 25. Now you will see that in this case all dij's are greater than equal to 0. So we have reached an optimal solution. So we have reached to an optimal solution, and the cost found in the last few back steps, that is cost of 189 rupees is the total minimum cost which can be found using this transportation problem. So the condition we have to stop using UV method is that when all the values of dij are greater or equal to the 0. Okay, so in this matrix you will see that all values are greater than dij, so we have reached to an optimal solution, and the value which we have find in the later steps is 189 rupees is the optimum, or you can say that the minimum transportation cost.